Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. All right, so let's get started. I'm taking a little bit of a risk on this one because it does involve some themes here. So there is probably a content warning on, I don't know, what would you say, like creepy behavior, creepy
Yeah.
stuff that's going on. So let's get started. Am I the jerk for telling a friend's group about another friend's secret so they would stop being friends with him? A little backstory. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I have this friend, for reference, let's call him Paul, and he's been my roommate for a little over a year. We've been good friends since college, and we've also maintained our friends group from college as well. Recently, I started to notice an odd thing. My underwear have been frequently disappearing and reappearing in my drawer. At first, I didn't notice anything, but occasionally I would notice some pairs that were supposed to be clean had a strange smell. I started to get really suspicious after a while, especially after I brought it up to Paul, and he just shrugged it off at first, but started getting really weird vibes and other arguing back and forth from Paul, and he finally admitted, very reluctantly, the truth. Apparently, Paul has been stealing my underwear, wearing them, putting them back in the drawer, with what I'm assuming is the hope that I will end up wearing them too. Gross. When I found this out, my skin crawled. I'm honestly a very open-minded person, and I wouldn't have a problem with Paul wearing women's underwear if they weren't mine. And he also confessed that he's been doing it for months. So I felt so violated by this, and I told him that he would have to leave immediately. Luckily, he agreed and left that night and has been crashing on a work friend's couch while he looks for a new place. He said that he was really embarrassed and understood why I no longer was comfortable with being friends with him. The only thing he requested was that I not tell our mutual friends. But I couldn't not tell them, considering they were all wondering why Paul had to leave so suddenly and why we weren't friends anymore. That does raise some questions. They knew something had gone down, and when they asked, I just told them it's because I honestly need support about the whole thing, and I also know that there was no way I would be able to keep hanging out in the group if Paul was going to be there. Everyone was really shocked and understood my decision. Paul confronted me over the text and telling me that I was wrong to share his secret with the whole group and that it was his private information, but I told him I was allowed to tell my friends about how his actions affected me, considering he went against my privacy and violated not only my trust, but also me as a person. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP, I don't think you revealed his secret here. I'm going to continue to use that terminology. He did something that was really across a lot of boundaries here. And you don't get to claim that this is your secret when it hurts somebody else, right? And what happens if he ends up moving in with one of your other friends in this friends group? Like, what happens if he starts stealing their underwear and wearing them, right? So, I don't know. Like, I understand that this is like a really sensitive topic for him, and I can understand why he would feel like this was kind of like, ruining his life in a lot of ways. But the thing is this: actions have consequences at the end of the day. You don't get to harm somebody and then be like, well, please just don't tell other people that I did this horrible thing to you and I harmed you in this way, because then it'll make other people dislike me. Like, there are consequences. Like, you just can't expect to have your cake and eat it too, right? So I think Paul is delusional if he thinks that everyone's just gonna like continue to hang around with him and whatnot. He needs to get into therapy, plain and simple. Like, I don't think you should hate Paul. I mean, but he definitely needs to has some problems that he has to work out. And I'm not suggesting that you should be friends with Paul, but he clearly has some troubles here and has some ideas that are very much, against other people that could be harmful towards other people, and you in particular, OP. So I think that this seems like a really kind of like a power and control type thing, and you don't get to claim that you get gratification out of activities that other people haven't consented to. And that's really what this boils down to at the end of the day, is that he's gaining gratification out of a lack of consent from you, which is just gross, which is very, very gross. Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. This is not a secret, it's harassment and borderline abuse. There was no consent here. Yeah, exactly. There's a real alarming lack of understanding about the fact that someone objecting that you were involved in their secret without their consent is not the same as secret shaming. Yeah, you two were not involved in some kind of like mutual agreed thing, and then had a nasty breakup, and now you're revealing to everybody like his secret, right? This is not what happened here. He did something that violated you. You didn't tell them about a secret, you told them about a super inappropriate, creepy, and predatory behavior. I'm all for supporting people's secrets, but like, not the jerk. Not when their secret is assault adjacent with non-informed, non-consenting party. Yeah. I think we've all kind of arrived at the same spot on this one. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Turning My Sister-in-Law into a Housewife? All right. Throwaway account. I'm a 29-year-old female and I live alone in my apartment for a little while. This was until my older brother, a 33-year-old male, and his wife moved in with me about a year ago, after my brother ran into financial troubles. I happily let them move in with me, thinking it would give them a chance to get back on their feet. This is not what ended up happening. My brother would wake up way past noon every single day and would spend all day watching football with his feet up on the sofa. My sister-in-law would also wake up past noon, spend about half the day getting ready, and then either sitting on the sofa with her husband and browsing her phone for the whole day, or going out with friends. For the first few weeks, I wasn't too annoyed, but this went on for months. That's right, months. They weren't exactly paying me rent, and considering that the whole reason that they're staying with me is financial trouble, I never really expected money from them. But my issue was that they don't seem to be making any effort to get back on their feet. For example, getting jobs or looking for apartments. It seemed as though they saw my living space as a permanent solution as opposed to a temporary one. I spoke to my brother about it a couple of times and tried to, subtly as possible, ask if he planned on getting a job anytime soon, and his answer was always vague and dismissive. I'm working on it. Yeah, watching football on all day long is sure working on that problem. This is the part of the story where I might be the jerk, and why I'm asking on this. Considering it had been a whole year since they moved in, I began asking both of them to do some chores around the house. So they've been living free, not doing any chores, while poor OP has been doing everything. So, for example, laundry, sweeping, hoovering, mopping floors, washing dishes, etc. I wasn't trying to be malicious. I just thought it might help as well if they were going to be permanently with me. My sister-in-law always seemed a little annoyed by this, but never told me no. My brother, on the other hand, was a different story. Well, a few days ago, he approached me quite irritated and asked why I was, quote, trying to turn his wife into a housewife. He accused me of forcing both of them to clean and cook and do things just because I'm getting too lazy to do them. He said that it was disrespectful to make my guests do housework. I tried to point out as calmly as I could that they've been living with me for over a year now, so I no longer consider them guests. They clearly weren't planning on moving out anytime soon, so they might as well pull their weight. My brother thinks that I'm the jerk and told me that my sister-in-law feels like she can't say no to me regarding the housework, and that I've made my home uncomfortable environment for her due to my behavior. Oh no! It's become so awkward now, and I think I've made a mistake. OP, you haven't made a mistake.
You have.
You have.
I haven't victimed them yet.
OP, you're not the jerk. You're the kind of... The poor OP is like a saint. It's like, I was just trying to be nice to them. I was doing all the cooking, all the chores, all the laundry, and now I'm asking them just to kind of help out around the house, and I feel like a monster. No, P, you're not a jerk. You're not a monster. If this needs to be uncomfortable for them. They need to be uncomfortable so they go and find their own house, OP, and leave you alone. OP, you're being taken advantage of on so many levels here. Please, OP, continue to assign them chores, and then maybe also consider assigning them rent as well, so that it gets even more uncomfortable for them. There's only so long this can drag out for. They're being bad guests, right? You can't expect to move into someone's place for a year and be a guest that entire time, right? That you're no longer a guest after like a month, right? You're a permanent visitor after a month. That's my philosophy. I think that's a pretty good one. Maybe a few months, right? If you have an extended vacation in somewhere. But if you're gonna be living with someone for an extended period of time, you need to be pulling your own weight and helping around the house. You need to be doing cooking, chores, cleaning, all kinds of stuff here, right? Because you are now living with this person and you need to pull your weight. That's my thoughts. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, but allowing them to stay there for over a year without paying rent or getting jobs is an incredibly bizarre choice you have made. If they're going to be there, they have to pull their weight. The only reason your brother is confronting you about this is because he got used to taking advantage of your kindness and believes that if he makes you feel bad about being insistent that they contribute to the home in some way, you can stop and they can go back to being lazy. To be perfectly honest, what you need to be doing is, at this point, saying, you guys have 2 months to both find jobs and begin the process of moving out. If you find it incredibly disrespectful that you would spend a year squatting here, then have the gall to complain about when I ask for something small as doing chores to help out. All of this, OP, please listen. You need to kick these folks out. You think you're being helpful, but you're enabling them to keep this lifestyle on your dime. You need to contact an attorney to find out your legal rights in your state. Start getting your life back. It's up to them to get their lives back. You will be a jerk if you let this go on. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for this morning's Saturday morning special. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Remember the live stream? I've now updated this number. So it's now May 27th, 2022. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. So anyhow, take care and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Secret, secret, I've got a secret. That's when you're supposed to say, I'm Amber.
I'm Amber. You didn't say who you were, so I was confused.